Hello and welcome back to my video blog. We've had some interesting debates here this week, probably the most interesting being the debate on patients' rights. As you know, you can get a little European health insurance card that entitles you to free medical care if you need it in another European country if you're taken ill on holiday, for example. Well, Liberals and Democrats have been pressing the Commission to extend this and to say to people, look, if you need medical treatment and there's a waiting list in your own country, but there is capacity elsewhere, you should be able to go to another country to get the treatment. And of course, only up to the level of cost that your own government would be willing to pay, but nonetheless, treatment available free to all across the Union. That has gone through committee this week, and I'm pleased to say that Liberal Democrats managed to persuade most of the European People's Party, that's the right wing, to support us. Sadly, the Socialists abstained and the Greens and the far left voted against. But we will get a first reading of that directive before the House rises for the European elections, and that will allow us to bring it back in the next Parliament and see it put into law. It's a great step forward for European citizens that they'll be able to get health care wherever they want across the continent. It's also one of the reasons that many Liberals and Democrats are saying, well, there may be some things to criticise in Mr. Barroso, but he does things when we ask him to do and sometimes does them very well. And there's quite a lot of frustration here with the Socialists and the Greens who are constantly attacking Barroso's Commission, but are not actually prepared to put up a candidate against him. And one of the fundamental rules of democracy is either you put up for election or you shut up. I think the Socialists have got quite a lot of explaining to do. The other big debate here, of course, has been about the G20, the fact that the heads of state and government are meeting for only the second time in the G20 format, coming from the group of 20 biggest economies. They've got an ambitious agenda, which is not simply dealing with financial and economic recession, but also making sure that as we come out of recession, we are contributing to building a more just and a more stable and a more sustainable world for all of our citizens. There are lots and lots of stories of splits and division, but I believe there's a reasonably good chance that our heads of state and government will agree on a number of desperately needed measures to fight climate change, to tackle poverty, grinding poverty in the developing world, and to get our economies back on track. Watch this space. I'll try to report back to you next week on how it went.